Hi, and welcome to another anatomy painting video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the hamstrings. The hamstrings are a group of muscles that sit on the back of the upper thigh, and they're mainly responsible for flexion at the knee and extension of the hip. As you can probably see, I've started with a much smaller muscle on the lateral aspect of the thigh. And this is actually because the bicep femoris, which I'm going to paint on in a moment, has two heads. A short head that just attaches kind of a third of the way up the femur, and then a long head, which originates like the other hamstrings on the ischial tuberosity. If you were wondering why you have a bicep in your leg and another bicep in your arm, it's because the two muscles share a characteristic. They both have two heads. Now, I've already explained the difference between the short head of the bicep femoris and the long head of the bicep femoris. And if you think about that word bicep, bi meaning two and seps meaning heads. So bicep is literally telling you that it is a muscle with two heads, just like the bicep brachii in the arm. This next part that you can see me kind of colouring in now is the semimembranosus. The semimembranosus is one of the two semisisters, along with the semitendinosus. The reason I started with the semimembranosus first is because it kind of sits deep to the tendinosus, so that the semimembranosus is a bit fatter, so it appears more medial on pictures, and the semitendinosus just kind of sits over the top, so I'm going to be painting that over the top later on. So you can see I'm kind of painting the full bicep femoris now, and I'm just up at its origin point. All of the hamstrings originate from the ischial tuberosity, our kind of sit bones, the bony bump that we would sit on. However, they all have slightly different insertion points. The bicep femoris attaches onto the head of the fibula. The semitendinosus actually shares its tendon with two other muscles, and we'd call this the pes anserinus tendon or pes anserinus tendon, depending on how we want to pronounce that. And finally, the semimembranosus inserts onto the medial tibial condyle. So I'll throw some pictures up on the screen there to really illustrate my point as to where these insert. The hamstrings, much like the rectus femoris, are an example of a biarticulate muscle, meaning that they cross two articulations or two joints. What this means is they have to have an effect over every joint that they cross, one being the hips via the ischial tuberosity, and then they cross the knee as well at their different kind of insertion points. They're responsible for flexion of the knee and extension of the hip. Now, one thing I didn't get in this video is they also help to rotate the knee. When the knee is in an amount of flexion, it can actually rotate within its joint. And what you'll find is the muscles that sit on the medial aspect of the leg, so the semimembranosus and the semitendinosus, will rotate the knee into medial rotation or internal rotation. The bicep femoris, on the other hand, will help to laterally rotate the knee. There are some other muscles that help with this rotation of the knee, but for the purpose of this video, we're just showcasing the hamstrings. And there's the showcase of our full hamstring group. Now what you'll notice is later on I added the glutes on, and I extended the iliotibial band a little bit so it matched, but we're going to save those for another video. So you can see that ischial tuberosity, the attachment point, and then here we've got the semisisters, just showing the two different attachment points. The semitendinosus kind of wrapping round to the front a little bit and joining onto what will be the pes anserinus tendon. Now moving on to some movements, you just saw flexion of the knee, and now my model is showing us extension of the hip. That was the hamstrings. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.